All right, Coach Klieman wouldn't bite on this, but what's your favorite part of the uniform on the helmet? What detail's the best part of it for you?
I like the cursive cats on the front part of the helmet. It's probably the coolest little detail that I like. But I think it all looks good. I like how it's pretty simple. It's not too much or too flashy, but I think it looks really clean. So.
And we all saw the reaction video, but what was it like being in here a part of that during that process?
I mean, watching Josh Youngblood, it's pretty funny. But no, we were pretty excited. I knew about it before it happened. Coach kind of told us in the captain's meeting about it, so it wasn't as much of a surprise. But it was pretty cool. You know, the guys are excited for something different. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, on Twitter and stuff about some changes, and to get those revealed is pretty cool.
Coach Klieman had mentioned that he had a talk with you after the game. Just what was the general message that you got from him afterwards?
He just told me that he was really proud of the way I battled and didn't give up, the way that I led our football team even through the midst of a lot of adversity. He just told me to keep on doing what I'm doing, controlling the things that I can control, keep trying to get better each and every day, and he said it would pay off for me. So it was a good, heartfelt conversation. You know, we're on the same page with myself and the rest of this team with him. Obviously it was a tough loss, but the energy and spirit in our team is nothing's changed. Same with our coaches. So we know we gotta correct some things and get better on some things. So that's what we're gonna focus on, those things this week, and get ready to go play Baylor, because there's a lot of similar carryover defensively that Baylor does that Oklahoma State did, and obviously they're probably going to watch the Oklahoma State film and see what they had success with, and we'll have a chance to see it again, or who knows what the case may be. We got to be ready to make adjustments. I think that's the biggest key, because it's kind of hard. There's not a lot of similar personnel groupings in the Big 12 to what we do as far as the heavier stuff, so it's kind of hard to anticipate what exactly a team's going to do to us or play us. So we just got to be able to adjust, better on the sidelines.
Skylar, I know it's hard to make up for Malik Knowles, but what can you and the receivers do better this week to get the passing game going without him?
I would just say on my part, just trusting my guys, just trusting them, and there's a lot of different ways, to go about it. But there's, at the end of the day, we gotta get open, and I gotta make the right reads and get in the ball. And I felt like there was just a lot of things up and down, going wrong. Whether if we were having trouble getting separation, or I was getting off a read too quick, or we were missing the block up front to where I was getting pressured. Like, it was just, we couldn't get it clicking on all cylinders. I think that's the biggest thing for us this week. And I'm gonna work with those guys as much as I can. Try to build continuity, build trust with them, and that's all we can do. We got a lot of young guys out there that this is their first year really playing, with Landry Weber, Phillip Brooks, Joaquin, even to a certain extent, Sebastian Taylor. Like, all those guys have not really played before other than Dalton Schoen. So you've got to take that into consideration. We played Oklahoma State's secondary, I thought was really good, big and physical, and they had a good game plan for us. So we just got to be better at getting off collisions, and guys are going to try to get their hands on us. Exactly, Baylor's going to try to do the same thing. I just got to be disciplined to my progressions and hang in there and make a good throw. So
We've heard a lot of talk, even after good wins, about you guys trying to be the same every week. I know it's just Tuesday, but after a loss, does it feel the same, or is there a different mood in the complex after that?
I think it definitely, woke some people up that we can obviously be beat, and that, we're not invincible, and, we have to come to work every day and not take a day for granted, because anybody can beat us. I think this conference is pretty deep from top to bottom, and there's not a gimme win, if you know what I'm saying. So I think that kind of opened up everybody's eyes in that manner, that we have to really bring it, each and every game. But I would say the mood and the attitude is the same. I mean, the guys in the locker room are still really upbeat and excited. And it's a great opportunity for us to bounce back and get back on track going into a bye week. So I think it's just about us focusing on little details. Going back and watching the film, there was just so many little detail things that if we did right, it may have changed the outcome of the game. Not converting on, a couple short yardage, third downs that were on their side of the 50, and there's a lot of, what ifs, but we can't control those things or look back. It's just about focusing on today and this week, and just putting that behind us and kind of letting that, fuel us for, this week. And we just got to stick together and not turn on one another, which I know that's not the case at all, going to be the case. We have a great group of guys in our locker room that really, love each other and care for one another, and we want to win. There's nobody, obviously the fan base is, people saying this and that about our team after a loss, but there's nobody that was more disappointed than our football team and our coaching. I mean, you could tell guys cared in the locker room, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of emotion going on, and guys were pretty upset, but that was good for me to see as one of the leaders on the team. I think the people being bought in that's not a problem. So we just got to focus on little things and be ready to go play Baylor this weekend.
Got to ask you about Elijah Sullivan. What's something that you admire most about him? What's he like as a teammate?
He's just a great dude. He's a great guy, a great friend. He's really passionate. I love going against him in practice because he talks a lot of trash to me, and that makes it pretty fun. And he's just a competitor. I think he's a really talented football player, and he's always battled some injuries. And I've always really respected the way that he has handled that, because that could be really hard for how talented he is, just getting hurt and not being able to play and show what he's capable of. But no, he's a good dude. He's kind of quiet sometimes in his leadership. I feel like he's earned the respect to be one of the leaders on the defense, which he's grown so much this year in that aspect. But I feel like he can grow even more in that, and just I don't think he realizes like how good he can be truly, and just the sky's the limit. I mean, he's been making a lot of good plays for us. He's really fast, and he brings it when he squares up with you. So I'm glad that he's on my team, that's for sure. But no, he more above everything, he's just a great dude. He's a great dude. I know that he has my back through everything, on and out the field. I always know he's a guy that I could call or text, and that he would be there for me. So yeah.
Skylar, what do you remember about last year's game down there in Baylor?
I remember we left a lot out in the field, in particular myself. Missed a wide open throw to Alex Barnes that may have changed the difference in the game. Threw 2 interceptions that were forced throws. We ran the ball really well, but I mean, they're a different football team this year on defense. They run some different stuff and have some different personnels, but they're a really good football team. Watching them on film the past 2 days, like they fly to the football, they play hard, they're really physical, they get their hands on you, and they have a lot of experience. I think that's what I look at the depth chart. They have a lot of seniors on their roster, and I think that anytime you have a lot of seniors and experience that have been around for a while, that pays off, for them. So they're going to be a good challenge for us for sure. We're going to have to be ready to go play. But no, last year was that was a tough one when we lost. But once again, that was last year. This is a lot of things have changed since then.
Well, the only reason I really brought it up was I just didn't know. I know so many people probably think the Iowa State last year was the most frustrating loss, but I didn't know if it was Baylor simply because, I mean, you mentioned the overthrow to Alex, and then Nick missed the ensuing field goal.
Yeah.
Nick then had an extra point block, and you guys only lose by 3 points. I just didn't know if when you really – and Alex had such a huge game. I just didn't know if in your mind was that really the one that really stuck with you the most of any last year?
Yeah, it was probably up there, just in the fact that I felt like the Iowa State game I played pretty well and didn't leave a lot out in the field rather than the Baylor game where I made some good throws, but I also, didn't put us in a position to win. And like you said, we were down 3 points, and we lost by 3 points, and I overthrew a wide open touchdown that we would have won the game. That's what I kept on telling myself after that loss. But that was really frustrating, and throwing 2 picks that were both, just forces. I just kind of predetermined what I was going to do before I snapped the ball, and defense gave me something different than what I thought, and just forced the throw. And those are frustrating, but it's a good learning experience. So, I've grown a lot since then.
Every season's different. Every game is different. But you mentioned Alex Barnes with the 250 yards against Baylor last year. You guys have a good rushing attack this year. How important will it to be able to bounce back and have productivity running the ball this weekend?
Yeah, well, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I think to be a successful offense, you have to have a run game because if you can't run the ball and you're just driving, you're predictable. Everybody knows what you're doing before you do it, and your hands are tied behind your back, and that's when the defense is at full advantage to what they want to do or what they can do. And obviously in our offense, we're probably a run-first team, and whatnot. So we got to get the run game established at some point in time in the game. Whatever that may consist of. Like I said last week, it's not like a deal where you're going into it like we're gonna run it, at the beginning of the game and set up the pass. Like we got to take what they give us, and I think that's the most important thing that Coach Messingham has talked about is just taking what the defense gives us and executing for what's called. That we were in some tough situations just based on they gave us some different looks than what we were expecting, and that was tough. But at the same time, if we executed the details on some things, then we had a chance to be successful on some plays, even though it wasn't the best look. So I think that's the main thing for us. But just, I think our O-line is pretty pissed off about last week. If you want me to be honest, if anybody's mad about the loss, it's those guys. They're a great group of guys that are great football players, and they're gonna be excited to have an opportunity to go respond this week. And I never blink an eye with those guys. I know they were just as frustrated as I was as far as not being able to get things going, and they fought their butts off as well. So I just think that it's going to be a great opportunity for us. I'm excited to see how our team responds, and we just gotta, up front, it's just a deal of we were, kind of just late getting off some double teams in the run game because they pressured us a lot more on first and second down than we had expected, and it's just we were just like a tad late just getting off that double team to pick that guy up to spring us through opening up a seam for somebody, which that like everything is completely fixable. Like it's not terminal at all. So Coach Riley is going to get those guys ready to go, and they'll be ready to go. I have no question about it.